I think I just got stung by a bee.
Oh, hey, look at you, friends. Welcome to How Are You Now, the podcast where you talk about everything Letterkenny related, from Shorzy's chirps to McMurray's questionable behavior. We are the toughest podcast in Letterkenny, and we're here to talk about everything that makes this show a cult classic. So grab a puppers, get ready for some Hicks, Skids, hockey players, and Glenn. TR, how are you now?
Not so bad.
TR, how are you now?
Good, and you?
Oh, not so bad.
I actually just realized, like, right as you were talking, that I left my water bottle out there. And so I was totally like, cool. I'll grab it when you introduce Rene.
You're adorable.
I don't try to be.
Oh, man, it's been a week since we were last here.
Yeah.
So what's been going on with you, kiddo?
I've been doing a lot of homework.
How's that going?
There's nothing new.
Nothing new. Nothing.
No.
So you're
What,
you're
did I
gonna
miss
be
something?
you're gonna be starting a new job soon,
Right. I think I
We
said that last week.
we did talk about
I
that, but it
have
was
very
still
little
kind
more
of
information.
okay.
Like, I've had my picture taken and filled out all my paperwork and stuff. I need to go and pick up my new work laptop sometime next week so that I can access the training that I have to do before I start,
All
which
right.
is a training that I've done 500 times before because everybody uses Safe Schools.
What is Safe Schools?
It's literally a series of trainings that every single teacher has to do every single year. And it can be anything from like, it's like, have you ever taken like a bloodborne pathogens class?
No,
No? Okay, well.
sounds scary.
Most of it is like, here are things you need to remember, like how to keep yourself safe, how to keep, things clean, how to disinfect different stuff.
Sure.
But it also has things about, sexual harassment because, we're teachers and we have to like go through all of that whole thing. There's usually some kind of, gosh, I'm trying to remember now. It's been a couple of years. It's been nice not having to do it. But yeah, it's like CPR and stuff, things that you don't have to physically like do.
Right.
And depending on, what it is that you need to be trained on, they have a whole variety of different ones. So like the district, whichever district you work for will assign which of those are required. And then you also have an option for more that some districts will like pay you for your time with those trainings too. So
right on.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's so boring, but yeah.
Renee says, Safe Schools, Dean. Duh.
Thanks, Renee.
So yeah, not much going on with me right now. Had a bit of insomnia the other night, but that was about it.
Just a lot of insomnia lately.
Just took a COVID test because I thought I was getting sick, but no, it was all clear.
Probably a sinus infection.
Probably, which would not be unusual for me.
Yeah.
This
time of year.
Yeah, true. So we, in case anybody needs a reminder, we have a new phone number. It is 50-FIT-PARTY or 503-487-2789. If you wanted to call, leave us a voicemail or what have you, we'll be there and we'll get your voices on the air, and then you'll just be awesome because you'll be on the air. Kind of.
If you're afraid to like message us and say, hey, I'd love to be on your show, but you want to be on the show, this is a really easy way to do it.
Yeah. And also you can, if
we won't pick up like this, we're not going to pick up. Neither of us picks up the phone unless it's a work thing.
Renee asked for the number. It's 503-487-2789. Nice. 50-FIT-PARTY because we're all about fitness. Right? Totally. So, but yeah, call in. We'll get you on the air. Oh, and on by the way, on the air, we have a new promo that we got. Yeah, so let's play that real quick, and then we will. Once we do that, we will get into introducing our guest. So here's our promo.
Sundays at 3 a.m. It's The Fuss with Hank and Jess on Letterkenny's own 97.1 CGNU. Good new radio? We're not so bad.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, and those beyond the binary, today on How Are You Now, we are thrilled to welcome back our guest, Rene Encarnacion. Rene is no stranger to the show, having made numerous appearances and establishing himself as the Chevy Chase of How Are You Now. He is known for his love of the drug, yes, the drug called cannabis, and citing himself as and referred to as our resident joint boy. We're excited to have him back. So, if you would, put your hands together and welcome back, Rene. All right.
Knock it off. Knock it off. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. No. Come on. No, come on. Guys, sit down. Sit down. Knock it off. All right.
Oh, man. We got to give it up for you.
Here. We all know why we're here. Come on.
Why are we here today?
Just to say, how are you now?
Oh, good. And you?
Oh, not so bad. I swear, these gaps are getting longer and longer, and they're annoying me. Yes, we do all these little hoity-toity freaking table reads.
I love the table reads, though.
Oh my god, they drain me.
You're so awesome doing it, even when you sound like Foghorn Leghorn. That's amazing.
When I say
it's great to have you back, my man.
I'm glad to be back. I love doing this show. I really freaking do. I was actually talking to Dan earlier today. I'm like, bro, I think even if it takes another year, we have to organize where me and Dan get to do this in the near future.
Yeah, Dan was great coming on last time.
Yeah.
And it was great seeing him in this episode. So, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I meant my Dan.
Oh, you're Dan. Well, there's two Dans. So. Yeah, I didn't get to hang out with that Dan the last time I was on Perfectly Misfit. Yeah. By the way, Rene is on Perfectly Misfit, which you can find on YouTube. Are you anywhere else? Are you on Twitch?
YouTube and Facebook. And actually, because something else fell through this week, I'm gonna have time to actually start getting Perfectly Misfit on every other platform. Especially because now I started an LLC. I started a studio LLC. / construction business. Let's not get into that. But
construction
either way, like I said, hey, listen, hey, you need a body buried. Anyway, yeah. So some other businesses kind of fell off. So this week, I'm going to dedicate towards getting Perfectly Misfit out there a little more. Since we're on the topic, Perfectly Misfit is a podcast for me and a fellow veteran, one of my best friends, Dan Webb. We get together once a week and just shoot the shit, talk current events. Nothing freaking. We don't get political. We don't. We try to really be unbiased and just like look at this idiot do this, or just like doesn't matter. The president could be an idiot, or some thugs making a robbery on a Tuesday afternoon is an idiot. Like most people are freaking idiots. I'm not the brightest. And then if we don't. We run out of that kind of shit to talk about. We talk about movies and TV shows, other podcasts that we love, especially Dudesy. That's like our biggest passion over the past couple of months. Will Sasso's newest podcast, Dudesy, is the shit. It's run by an AI. Check that out. And then and then food. Dan is a family man. I'm a former executive chef. I love to cook. Dan's got 17,000 kids running around his house. So, from 4 baby mamas, I don't even want to talk about the logistics of that.
Oh, geez. Is he trying to be Nick Cannon?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm surprised he didn't crank out at least 7 with Mariah Carey. Bro, with that butt, are you kidding me? I would have gotten her pregnant wedding night. Bro. Anyway, we digress.
Just from psychokinesis.
Oh no, I'm not even talking about at the honeymoon. Just once the ring is put on.
Right. And the other thing I like that you talk about, and that we've talked about before, is mental health with veterans, especially. So I appreciate that because I know And we all need it, not just veterans, but I mean,
before we even move on, I'm sorry if I can plug one more thing.
go for it.
You guys are going to like this. It's something that Dan introduced to me on the podcast this week. We come out every Wednesday, 9:00 Eastern time, 7 Mountain time. And he applied for a thing months and months ago and just like completely forgot about it. He assumed he would never qualify for it. But it's for this organization called Stack Up. StackUp.org is a veteran. It's a non-for-profit veteran suicide organization, like where they're just trying to prevent and reduce veteran suicide and depression via video gaming.
Oh, interesting.
And you can apply for these things called supply crates, where you tell them your story, or on behalf of someone else, you can be like,
Sure.
hey, I want to get a box sent to this soldier because they've done XOXO. And Dan dropped the bomb on me that he applied for this and never told me about it. What a dork. So like I dropped the application, but while checking out the website, I saw the other things they do. They do these things called air assaults, where the same thing. It's an application process. You can apply for yourself or apply for a loved one or someone in your like platoon, if you're active duty. And the air assaults are where they will take a veteran and fly them out to a gaming or like nerdy style event, like a Comic-Con,
nice,
or like an E3, or like some sort of like big gaming release, all expenses freaking paid, in just an attempt to like build up that morale. And I thought that was like, when I heard about it, he was just telling me about how he's getting this great crate, full of free goodies, and goddamn, Dan is a freaking well-deserved 90% disabled veteran. Like, so God bless him. I think, him and I were the kind of people, like, we deserve whatever we can get, but we're never out there to try and take advantage of the system.
Sure.
But then, the last thing I'll talk about is they also do these things called stack ups, basically. So like each city will have a stack leader, and they will organize kind of different types of events revolved around gaming in order to like develop a bigger sense of community, and just like that camaraderie and morale, and just it's something they don't expect a lot. And so when I applied for my supply crate, I also applied for a volunteer job to lead a stack. They don't have one here in Denver. I was blown away. We've got Space Force bases here in Colorado.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. But I'm saying, like, you understand what I'm saying by that.
Yeah.
We've got like some of the smartest.
That so much of the money for the Space Force shit is coming out of like the VA, because the VA never gets upgraded.
Well, I mean, that's not even what I'm getting at. It's just the fact that there's such a concentration of like people who are probably just maybe a little more smarter and a little more out there, and might have a little harder time communicating, meeting new people, finding groups like this. It's like, and it doesn't just have to be video game. They do tabletop gaming, and I think we can organize movie nights, like kind of things like that. So I literally had my interview. It went well. They sent me the volunteer stacker guidebook, so I'm supposed to look over that over the next couple of weeks and get back to them and schedule and see if it's something I want to do. But considering they really want you to try and do 2 events every 6 months, and I feel like that's not a huge commitment.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's like organized, like, hey, let's all go to an arcade, or hey, like, let's come over to my place and take turns playing my Nintendo Switch or some shit like that. I think that's not a big commitment, and I gotta respect what they're trying to do. And I think if anybody's gonna love that kind of shit, it's gonna be the community, especially within us here.
Sure.
We're all gamers. So and
called Stack Up.
StackUp.org. Yeah.
I mean, because there's a great gaming store not too. I mean, just basically
there's a bunch of great gaming stores.
But the one that the guild that has that big open space.
Yes. Guardian Games.
That's what it is.
Yeah, if I can find that would be a kind of place that would be perfect for me, where I would want to find a space that has like maybe a big, community of people coming in and out. Sure. Maybe they're not all veterans, but then also just be like, hey, maybe they know some veterans, and then they can like be like, hey, if I get freaking 10 people, 5 people to come play some video games for an hour or two once every couple of months, I think that's a huge success.
Totally.
And then they have their own Discord as well. Like, and the Discord, they have like dedicated community outreach, like 24/7. Like they have people who they're going to be there no matter what. You just need someone to talk to.
Sure.
I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not employed by them. I haven't even gotten past this volunteer shit, but like everything I've seen and my little research I've done of them so far, god damn.
Nice.
Rock ass.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And as we've always been about, we're about community here. I mean, granted, it's been Letterkenny community, but it's not limited to that.
That's why I brought up the Discord. You guys' Discord is freaking awesome.
Yeah,
there's always people on there rolling.
The produce stand is really the busy one between us all. But
yeah, they have more time for the social interaction.
Sure.
Or let's say spoons. They have the more spoons for social interaction.
True.
Because technically, I had the time that I don't have spoons.
Yeah. So, but I will put all that stuff in the show notes so that I think that's important. So
sorry I don't normally go along on the plug shit, but this
that's completely legit and necessary. So,
yeah, and I really want to find out if there's one in our area.
And again, if they don't have one, you can still apply to become a stack leader. They have an option to put like just a civilian if you want to give back.
Well, Dean's a veteran.
Yeah, but Dean's not a person.
No, not really. I'm just a personality. So
I mean, ask the autistic person about personality. That's
boy.
Anyway, let's get into some Letterkenny, why don't we?
Yeah.
So last week was episode 3 of season 11, Lost Dog. We had Tress Webb on with us, which was his first time here. We've been chatting with him for a couple of years at least with produce stand folks. Super nice guy. It was great having him on, go over that. And we hope to have him back. But this week is episode 04, Nudes, which I'm all for. So we start off with the cold open, as we do with we're out in the back bush this time. Wayne, Derry, and Dan are all hanging out. Derry's hanging a piss. They all start talking various topics such as Derry's urinary system, Italian urethras, Swiss bowel conditions, shy bladder syndrome, and what might happen if the POTUS had a shy bladder. Squirrely Dan explains that people with shy bladders can only urinate in the right environments, and people with such bladders need to be aware of their available bathrooms at all times. Then they get into the Secret Service's responsibility, and Wayne says that President should also not use a handicap bathroom as it's uncouth, and that clearing the bathroom itself would entirely be an abuse of power. Derry has a bit of a quandary about the Secret Service and the POTUS.
Imagine you work your way up Secret Serving, and then you get assigned a detail to protect POTUS, and then all you're doing is clearing bathrooms for him and his shy bladder.
Hey, check yourself. Any detail those dudes get assigned is a fucking honor.
I think so, too.
Ask any one of them.
Yeah, they'd be happy with any details he gives them.
I think I'd try to switch details with another Secret Server.
I don't think that's how Presidential's details works there, Darius.
All right, ruin me this. Let's say you work your way all the way up to being a Secret Server. What are you going to do then? Huh? Going to go to the POTUS, say you don't like your details? Do you want another Secret Server's details? Don't be surprised to take away your details altogether.
You'd be scrubbing the ship's commodes.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Old boss is always a dick till you meet the new one.
You'd be dreaming of the old boss's dick. Fucking leader of the free world.
If I was a Secret Service, I'd be happy to help the POTUSes in any ways you needed.
You'd be dreaming of the old boss's dick. Anyway, so so that's the cold open. We then get into scene 1, which we start out at the produce stand like we do. Wayne, Katie, Derry, Dan, Squirrely Dan, Wayne, Katie, Derry, and Dan are all hanging out. Rosie pops in and gets a message, showing a message that has angered her. It's about a leaked nude of Gail that's floating around Letterkenny. They all begin discussing the propriety of taking and sending nudes. Wayne is very much against the whole enterprise, but I'll come to the conclusion that leaking them especially is bad. Katie and Rosie want to take action to find the person who sent the message, delete the evidence, and take vigilante action. From there, we cut over to the dollar store parking lot where Stuart, Rold, and the rest of the Skids are dancing around. Stuart and Rold are discussing their drug dealing business in front of the dollar store. They talk about the heat on their names and how they need to take it off. So they come up with a plan to to deal under the guise of a proxy. Just then, Avi Goldstein walks out of the dollar store. He approaches and joins the conversation. The Skids make a business proposition to Avi where he will sell drugs for them at an inflated price to take the heat off their names. Avi agrees to the proposition in exchange for free weed. From there, we cut to Wayne, Katie, Derry, Squirrely Dan, and Rosie entering Modine's to find Bonnie upset about the leaked nude of Gail. Bonnie is looking up the ways to remove a man's balls from his body. The group decides that they should take action to see who leaked the photo. The fellows try to offer help, but Katie insists they have it under control.
Was it just remove the balls, or was it like remove the balls and cauterize or something? I could have.
Well, Dan talks about a bilateral orchidectomy,
which is you really don't want to know what that is. I know people who've had that. You really don't want to know what that is.
Yeah. So, anyway, the guys all decide to get hammered while the ladies are going to go search.
So, where do we start?
Dealer's choice.
Well, my brother's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah. So anyway,
I love that you acknowledge your brother's piece of shit. I love that.
Meaning, which of course going over to the McMurrays. So Rosie, Katie, and Bonnie go over to the McMurrays' house to investigate the leaked nude photos of Gail. Mr. and Mrs. McMurray meet them in the laneway dressed in their tiny robes, and they discuss the nature of the photos. Bonnie asks if they've seen the photos, but they have not. Mr. McMurray suggests that they look into Jim Dickens, but Katie defends him. Jim Dickens is not that kind of guy. But Jim just happens to be standing right there in his own little robe. He denies
that was a full-size robe. He's just so tall.
Yeah, he denies any and all involvement. And
Miss Gail and I have had a courtship in the past. But if I ever circulated a naked photo of a woman who trusted me with her body, I would voluntarily permit that woman to cut off my genitals and then thank her for the kindness.
Yep.
So, but then he proposes that the culprits are probably a couple of boys in town. Katie knows who these boys are. The ladies agree. Then the McMurrays from there continually insult Jim as the girls are leaving to continue their investigation. From there, we cut to the Skid basement where Stuart and Rold are discussing their drug dealing proposal with Avi. Avi agrees to sell the drugs in exchange for free weed, but demands that they admit that weed is a drug. Stuart scoffs at the idea. Rold tries to convince Stuart by asking him to reminisce about the experiences with weed, including hiding it from their parents, and Katie coming to him for it.
Oh, it was so secret and sexual. Sex. Sure. But do you
forgot about that? Oh, I forgot about that.
Would she call you? Her first drug dealer.
Stuart was her first drug dealer. So from there, they all agree that to Avi's request, and that Avi wants to make sure that the drugs have not been tampered with, to which they agree. They are rated E for everyone. They finalize the deal to plan to sell the drugs outside the dollar store. From there, we cut to the gang now at Modine's. Alexander makes his appearance. He comes out of the bathroom. He shares a philosophical quote about the world, about life being like toilet paper.
You're either on a roll or taking crap off someone.
Yep.
So, meanwhile, Riley and Jonesy are discussing something together, and then Rosie and Katie and Bonnie walk up to them. Rosie asks them if there's a naked photo of her cousin Gail on the phone, but Riley and Jonesy can't remember due to their history of concussions. They joke about having multiple naked photos on their phone, even deleting apps to make room for more. They do agree that sending photos is a bad thing and that they would never do that. However, they would show it to people, but they just wouldn't send it to them. They consider the possibility of the Skids finding out who has the photo, that they may find out who has that they have photos on their phone from the dark web, and they hope that they don't get their stash of nudes discovered. They ask the ladies to not reveal their secret. They agree. And the scene ends with Riley and Jonesy celebrating with a near. From there, we cut to the dollar store parking lot. Avi meets Stuart and Rolled outside to exchange a Boba Fett stack of dollar bills for the rips they were selling. Avi reveals that he sold the rips to his cousin Shlomi at who happens to be an on-campus dealer at the yeshiva in Toronto for the regular price instead of the inflated price. He also warns them about a smelly guy named something like Jiggly Puff Pat, who showed them a nude of Gale while he was there, who happens to agree that he's a proper degen. Stuart offers to buy drinks for everyone at the bar, but Avi declines, saying he doesn't want to be late for Shabbos dinner with his bubby, who is making brisket.
Okay, can we stop for 1 sec? I think you misspoke on one thing
About he was selling to and I did.
He sold to the regulars
at
regular price, but the guy in Toronto, he sold for the elevator.
That's correct. I did mess up on that, and I apologize. Thanks for catching me on that.
So never misspeak about my boy Avi like that again. I'll have him on the show, and he'll fucking correct it.
He will fuck me up with his mouth.
We'll give you a Boba Fett load in your face.
There you go. Stuart and Roll then meet Rosie and Katie and Bonnie outside of Modine's on Modine's parking lot, where they're all hanging out on the tailgate of I think it's Katie's truck. Then Stuart and Roll ask him about a rumor connected to Rosie's cousin Gail. When asked about it, Stuart implies that Gail is known for causing trouble. Bonnie demands that they speak up, but Stuart then warns him about snitching. Katie jumps down, grabs Stuart by the throat, and threatens him, causing him to reveal that Jivin Pete is the one who's involved. Gail appears from the door and invites them all into the bar, but they need to inform her about the situation first. Then we go inside Modine's. Where Wayne, Derry, Dan, Katie, Rosie, Bonnie are all at the bar with Gail, tending. Gail thanks the group for having her back around town and reveals that Jivin Pete was the one who leaked the nude because she sent it to him. But she didn't sleep with him, but she has slept with worse. And I neglected to put clip 6 in there, but it's about how she slept with the late crew at Timmy's to give her a real double.
Yeah.
Gail then shares she also has a game called Carpenter, and that's a very apropos for Gail, but and also how Jivin Pete's actions were actually helped her with who she was. It's her, as the nude was her business card. The girls then devise a plan to get back at Jivin Pete by flirting with him and providing him a shot, and then kicking him in the balls when he goes to drink the shot that they gave him. And then from there, cut to credits. So that is the nuts and bolts of the episode. So
you did there, and I like it.
I like it a lot. So thoughts, theories, trivia, questions, observations. I will say just my 2 things real quick.
Okay.
Love that the women were taking the lead and the men didn't fight it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how much respect the fellas have for the Secret Service and POTUS, even though they're Canadian.
True story.
and the Secret Service and POTUS are from the States. So anyway, I'll go ahead.
Which is why
presidential penis has been washed.
Yeah.
And mop it off to Uranus.
Before we do anything else,
sure.
Let's make clear that sharing nudes without consent is absolutely illegal in many places.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen to be illegal where you live, it's morally wrong. And I say that as an atheist. Like, this isn't against God or shit. Like, you are committing an act against somebody, and that's not okay. Don't fucking do it. Just don't do it. Degen for life. Exactly. So I just wanted to say that because also don't share a nude literally like showing. That's also sharing a nude without consent.
True.
Now, in this instance, I actually pondered throughout the whole thing.
You really want to see it?
Well, yes, that was, yeah.
Well, if she sent it to me, I would definitely look at it.
Yes, exactly. But well, I lost the train of thought. Yes, you did. I wrote it down somewhere there, so I'll find it eventually. Do you agree with what the women said should be done?
Yes.
Castration? Yeah, it's borderline. I mean, it's pretty extreme, but yeah, you're as bad as the fucking guy. It's like that dude. Like you got it. Be happy you got it. And
there it is.
If she moves on, just delete it. Just
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
done.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's done.
at least say if I mean while she sends it, say, hey, if you ever want me to delete this, just say so.
Yeah,
and it's gone.
Yeah. So
Just,
like
put in
my
You're
a
being
breakup,
trusted.
just keep
Yeah,
your
wash
text
your hands of it, go
messages,
away.
but,
Yeah.
but text messages, sure, like is for future evidence. But like, hey, you said
So
this. You totally said this. I'm sorry, but girls like calling back shit. So like, hey.
That's true. I remember when I had lost my train of thought on like watching this, even like for the first time, I wondered all the way through it if Gail was the one that did it. Like in my mind, Gail should have been the first one they went to. And there was a scene in there. I remember there was a scene in there when the boys and the girls were all standing in front of Bonnie, and Derry is like, follow the money. And I'm like, exactly. Who's going to benefit from this? Let's check with Gail first, maybe.
I mean, they probably should have checked with Gail first anyway, regardless.
That is the end of the story, but like,
but it's so the show can happen.
So the show can happen. Yes.
Yeah.
I just found it really funny that Derry was almost the voice of reason in this. He was almost the, maybe we should talk to Gail. At least that was my interpretation.
I liked that. Again, my only theory for this was really just it being that build-up episode, because we know what's going to happen after here. We're not going to talk about it,
right.
But like this arc, it makes it the arc of basically the season, because it carries out through 3-4 episodes. This whole storyline, because they get a little obscure in the first and the last, as they always do. But like, yeah, I like what they did here. In the last season, I felt it was a little more erratic each episode. You couldn't really see where things were going. I feel like maybe they might have listened to us as fans, our responses and freaking comments and whatever public forums are available. As we've noticed and seen that, like, we've had a few people, tied to that production who are listening to us. They hear us. Yeah. They come back. They're
still weird though. Sorry, that blows my mind a little bit. But anyway,
apologize. I mean, I think we all come from places of balance. We all come from like different worlds as well. Like but we're all, for the most part, none of us are extremists. I mean, I can be a little extreme with my humor, but like, none of us are fucking right wingers. None of us are left wingers. None of us are.
I'm kind of a commie leftist sympathizer. Like I'm like right on. Like democratic socialism is absolutely what I think would work the best. But
if I really
full
felt
collapse.
But if I felt that about you, then you're part of the 1% of that group.
No, I agree. Because there's some fucked up people on the left.
You're
fully agree with that.
You're a lot more tolerant. You're a lot more open-minded. You're a lot more accepting than I feel most are. I grew up left. I grew up a Puerto Rican from the South Bronx who grew up in the 80s. I think we invented the word Democrat. I don't know. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But like,
that's a good way to put it for sure.
Yeah. But either way, I loved what this episode did. I loved it. It was building up the women, like, especially because I can kind of foresee some of like us losing some of these major characters that we've been falling in love with over the past 10 years. I can not mean losing like in life. I just mean like they might move on to bigger projects.
Right.
They might not be available to dedicate the 6 months or whatever to film another season in the near future. These are all amazing actors who are all, I hate to say it like this, but upcoming and growing, because like now they've reached the new market, being Hulu, bought out by Hulu, and they're reaching the bigger market here in the West.
And Australia and Europe. Like everybody has Letterkenny now, and everybody loves Letterkenny.
Since I'm only going to get to say this once, over the next 2 years though, because like we're not getting as many seasons, they're not as frequent. The last 2 seasons haven't been as strong as the ones that brought us into it, but they're doing their jobs as far as making sure they're building their audience and keeping us. I feel like this episode really showed that.
And you got to keep in mind also this season and the one prior were all done at once and done during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic. So there's some stuff that they had to adjust for.
Was this the one also with the freaking scratch off ticket?
Yes, yeah, that's
Oh.
next episode.
Oh,
I
I was
believe.
like,
Well, that's
that's not
next
yet.
episode. No, next. I'm not this episode. Next episode. All right.
Next episode, yes.
God damn it! I'm missing that good part. Oh, I would have. We're going to talk about that for about 15 minutes. That was a cool one. Anyway,
I wrote down a few things that I would probably talk about for 15 minutes, and I'm going to skip over them, like my whole tirade on the words "boys will be boys" and what that should mean, not what a lot of people say it for. It does not mean sexual assault.
Nope.
It does not mean violating anyone else's consent. It means boys like to play rough with consent with each other.
With other boys.
Sometimes, most of the time, yeah. That's why you have.
Well, I like dealing with other boys. I don't know about you.
But what I was going to say
is,
like me, when I was a kid, sometimes you have the AFAB, the girl appearing playing with the boys because they make more sense, because the games that they play are a lot more simple. Maybe have a lot less social
simple boys
credit. Boys have always been simple. I don't want to say like dumb or anything like that. That's not it. It's simple.
The basic.
Yeah, a little bit. But for me, I can understand a lot of AMAB people more than I can understand a lot of AFAB people.
Assigned male at birth, assigned female at birth, for those who don't understand what that means.
But my point being, people like me were called tomboy or, whatever. But it was all, gender is just a social construct. It doesn't fucking mean anything. Okay, anyway. I told you I could go on for that. I'm like, I'm not.
It's great. Again, I like, this is exactly what I'm getting at, is I love that Letterkenny is continuing to push the conversation.
Absolutely.
They're whether it's gender, sexual, race.
I do want to see them handle gender. I would really love to see a trans or non-binary character. Like it's pretty much the only thing that I have not seen representation of.
Except from David Mack.
Oh yeah, and David Mack's
we did the hangry.
Yeah, that's right.
I feel like if anybody's going to comment on it, it's going to be my boy Rolled. Rolled's going to eventually like correct someone and be like, "Excuse me, you're not allowed to call."
I've decided that yeah.
Or no, even just like correct someone and be like, they haven't identified themselves, so how dare you? You know, something like that. I could see Rolled being
being the one who walks up and, "Can I ask your pronouns?" with that, like, because it's someone new, and that's what he does.
Have we?
No, we have not had an on-screen conversation about pronouns.
Someone say, I'm a
Rolled said, "I identify as a wood nymph." That's
okay. Fair enough. So we've touched on it.
Yes. Yeah. We'll go with that.
See, another reason when I get my Rolled tattoo, maybe I'll fucking give him the pointy ears.
Oh fuck yes.
That's gonna happen. I've already made that promise on you.
Anyway. Now, one thing I don't know if you wrote down this observation that I said while you were watching it, but Rolled totally being the magenta and riffraff.
Yes, almost. Hold on. So
okay, sure. Go ahead.
It starts off with him mimicking everything that Stuart is doing.
Right.
But definitely in the scene, like trying to do the dance and running into him and saying, "Ah!" and all of that.
Yes.
Like it was because he was trying to mimic it and like overshot it just a little bit. And like anytime Stuart's posture would change, Rolled would get into that position or whatever, even when he was like excited because Avi, said a nice thing to him or something.
Yeah.
Which I just thought that was adorable. I was like, oh. But yeah, so in the scene where that you played the clip from, where he's talking about Katie called him the first drug dealer, it very much feels like he's magenta to Stuart's riffraff. If you're a Rocky Horror Picture Show person, watch that scene with that in mind. You will totally see it.
Rocky.
Stuart's troubled childhood just keeps getting worse and worse. Like, I honestly thought that he was like super neglected, but like talking about finding his mom's pot in her underwear drawer when he was in pre-K.
Unsuccessfully.
Right? In pre-K. That's 4, by the way. 4 or 5.
Well, he said,
when you're in pre-K.
Well, he said, yeah. When,
It was junior kindergarten, which
yeah.
is what we call pre-K in the US.
But yeah. And then obviously, well, you must have had a troubled childhood.
Yeah. So, Bonnie's face when they walk in to talk to her and she didn't respond right, or Wayne's face, I'm sorry, when he says, Bonnie, how are you now? And she was pissed, and he was like,
oh, yeah. I
thought that was
pissed in you.
I gotta be honest. I didn't have the opportunity at the time to like rewatch. Usually I rewatch right before we do these episodes, but I mismanaged my time as usual. Yeah, so like, but the way you're literally reminding me of all the things I probably would have fucking said.
This is
I love those things. I love it when Bonnie,
about.
when Bonnie freaking was like, "No, we're not doing that right now. We're talking about something serious, all right?
Right?
Fuck all the hot wire now."
But procedure, okay? Because he continued under his breath, which is again one of the most autistic things ever, because he has this prescribed conversation that he has every time, this script that he goes by and feels uncomfortable if it's done wrong. But if Bonnie chastises him, he does not insist on continuing it like he tries with McMurray sometimes or whatever. Like he's just like, oh. It's like, oh my God.
It's like when Katie told him to sit down.
Yes,
he just ducked his.
I think that in his esteem, Bonnie is right there with Katie now, like because that's the way he acted, was as if Katie had shut him down.
Yeah.
Thank you for pulling that out of my brain. Yeah.
And a weird. It's more rude than autism. Then it's that like in New York we're used to. You need to say thank you if somebody holds the door open for you. Like it can almost turn into a freaking physical altercation. So it's the same thing, but like half of us are just like, "You're welcome." Then the other half are like, "You're welcome, motherfucker."
Yep.
It's just like that. Oh, it's like, oh yeah, that. And there's something. "You're welcome." Just, okay, have a good day. Then yeah, I love it. I fucking love it. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's right. Katie getting Derry to shut up. He might have had the right idea. When the McMurrays were confronted, or when, and they blamed it on Dickens, and he started saying, what he would do or allow a woman to do if he were ever to break her trust like that. Bonnie turns to the girls and like, there's some good ones left.
Wait, so remind me. Wait, were the Dickens trying to blame? I'm sorry. Were the McMurrays trying to blame Dickens?
Yes.
While he was literally in their hot tub?
Yeah.
No, they weren't in the hot tub.
They were about to get in the hot tub.
Oh, they were about to. Okay.
He says, I will not be joining you for today's hot tubbing.
And McMurray being like upset about that. Like, you just accused him of something that obviously like really hurt his ego. Like, how dare you think that about him? Yeah.
And thank God for the kindness.
And I love that the girls, the women knew immediately as soon as they said his name. They were like, what? No, he's a good guy. And then he proves that he's a good guy. Yeah. I love that. Love it.
Jimmy Dixon for the wins.
Oh,
Dickens's
face.
Like Charles.
Yes, that's exactly what I was like. And his face during that moment, he was like, oh, like he was gonna cry, and I was like, oh my God. There was so much emotion behind that.
That's all I know.
This is good. Sniper, Wayne Sweetie.
Yeah.
Not gonna do anything that might piss off Wayne.
But also in the style of Sniper, Wayne Sweetie.
Wayne Sweetie. Yes, exactly. Sorry boys, too many conkies. That's my new like catchphrase when I can't remember shit. Sorry boys, too many conkies. When he
which if you didn't pick up on it is another word for concussions.
He's got too many hits to the head.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was what Riley and Jonesy were talking about. I have
brutal.
Actually
I don't like that. As someone who was a former like big time athlete and infantry soldier for 6 years. No, oh Christ. Well way. Yeah. What
that last one? Yeah. One 1 or 2 were from roller derby.
Ooh, all right.
My last
The other five
one was
down.
at work.
All right.
My last one was at work, and that one actually gave me a learning disorder.
The conkeys? Is he what? Then like that's like the fucking puppet from Trailer Park Boys. That's why I'm like, no, I don't like this word. I don't like the puppet that kept fucking.
I didn't know
that. Julian, or no, Ricky. Yes, conky. Oh my god, I don't like that word. It's like moist. I don't like that word.
Veg.
That's not a great one.
Oh no veg. Oh, I'll be right back. 2 minutes.
Anyway, where were you?
I kind of wanted to say this with Rene and see what his feedback was, but if he hasn't watched it recently, he might not have picked up on this. But I would almost swear that Ari was flirting just a little bit with Rold. Like he was shutting Stuart down, but like as soon as Rold asked, he was like, "For you, yes."
Yeah,
and it was like more like there was sweetness almost in like the.
It was a flirt, but kind of
in the way that you and I flirt with everybody. Yes,
a friendly flirt.
Yeah, you don't see two men friendly flirt on TV very often, and it was. Yeah, it just I loved it because I'm like, ooh.
Yes, rolled up the window.
Roldy needs some sunshine in his life because
roll up the window rim to win. That's hard to say.
Rolled up the window.
Rim to win.
Rolled up
the rim to win.
Rolled up the wind. Nope, can't do it. I can't do it. It's like the wacky waving inflatable alarm.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Or Raxacorical fallopatorius.
There you go.
Holy fuck! I did that right the first time. I didn't even pre-think of that word, Dean. I remembered it.
Good girl.
Oh fuck! Stuart's face when Katie was walking over to him and like he was oh, she's gonna kiss me. No, she's not. She's never going to kiss you. Why? I was like, is she gonna kick him in the no strangle? Okay, cool.
She's saving up the Katie kick for somebody else.
Which is one of the show's tropes, by the way. We've been talking about tropes throughout the season.
Tropes.
Probably my favorite like exchange in the whole show was Gail, you need Jesus. Good thinking. Best carpenter there ever was.
That's right.
Like, fuck yeah. Let's see. Oh, do you think Gail sent Derry the nude after because he was complaining of not being able to see it?
If she remembered, I think she would. I think she definitely would.
Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, he did. This house is clean.
This house is clean.
Okay,
thank you guys for getting that reference.
The last thing I wrote down was what the hell an Aperol Spritz was. Because I don't know that shit. That's what Dan said that he would like to try.
It's not. It's not Aperol.
I don't want to say it.
It's more like Aperol. It's AEPEROL, if I remember correctly. It's a weird liqueur. It's like a liqueur.
Yeah,
spritzer.
it is.
Yeah.
I had to look it up though because I've never heard of an alcohol being made from rhubarb before.
Ew.
Yeah. It's a very weird liqueur. It's like $17 for a spritzer. It's like it comes in a champagne glass. It's
I'd try it. I suppose.
Literally you can buy a whole bottle of the shit in the fucking liquor store for $20. And meanwhile, they're charging $14 for 3 ounces worth mixed with seltzer water.
I may give it a shot. I mean, we drink fermented potatoes.
Yeah. Do you like rhubarb though?
No.
Do you like potatoes?
I do like potatoes, but there's probably other things that I would give a shot to. I mean, I've had a Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, which has lots of stuff in it.
That is true.
So if you've never had a Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, I highly recommend one. But
may or may not be the same recipe, but depending on the bar that you're at.
Just thank you for all the fish.
Yes, thank you.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Oh, this again?
Do we do this every episode? I feel like we drop one of these every fucking episode.
I think so.
I'm almost like there's too many episodes for me to go back and fucking. This is like we're going 4 years now. I think actually, fuck more than that. Fuck anyway.
Fuck.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah, so that was my last one was basically, you know, I would have thought Gail if Gail had consented to that, I totally don't see him being in the wrong. Like if she sent it to him with the express, you can share this with whoever you want. Like I can see her doing that. I don't think she did in this instance, but I can see her doing that.
So,
and
can I ask you a
I mean, she
question?
expected it.
Yeah.
Like as my most like woke friend, I'm gonna say it like
He has grown into almost as woke as me.
Anyway, go ahead.
Despite not having her permission, does the fact that she appreciated nullify him at all?
Nope. He didn't have consent prior to. So, I mean, even though it was afterwards, she's
I mean,
okay
I
with
still
it.
kick his ass. I'm just curious if he gets any.
No, I don't. I don't think so. I mean, maybe in Gail's only in Gail's purview. That's her, but that's her own.
Yeah,
I guess also now that I say it,
consent.
Now that I say it out loud, I'm also realizing like he didn't do it to like be cool. Like he did it to be malicious. Like it's not like
like he didn't. It was more like he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
he was just being a d-bag.
He was doing it to everyone. Yeah.
Oh, check out this I got from Gail.
Yeah.
Next episode. Anyway, no, but that's what I'm saying. I really loved this episode for that alone. Just like it really kind of made you like,
yeah,
step back. You know, I'm sure a lot of people have to be like, well, yeah, but
no buts.
Right. Go ahead. Say it out loud. Let's hear it for the world.
That moment, like, well, yeah.
If you have to throw a butt in there, then you know it's wrong.
Well, because then like what I'm saying, my butt is like the ultimate butt is like, well, Wayne said it's not cool, and if you don't agree with what Wayne says, you shouldn't even be watching the show.
Well, I mean, he doesn't think you should be taking pictures of yourself at all. So
true.
Yeah.
So and especially at the gym.
Yeah, it's both.
I bet his Insta is all just the boys hockey.
I don't think he even has them. Oh, well, yeah, Wayne. But yeah, like
Wayne has pictures of Stormy.
Think about it now, as I say it out loud. It's like we are watching a show that's kind of led by a matriarch and patriarch. It is literally what Wayne and Katie says goes. Yep. Who else knows? Anyone ever contested them, questioned them? It's like actually,
I mean, if they have, it
just each other.
It doesn't end in their favor. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I'm just thinking Wayne has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wayne has 5 pictures on his phone. He's got Rosie, Katie, Dan and Derry. No, yeah, Rosie, Katie, Dan, Derry, Stormy, and Gus. Dan and Derry are in one picture. Those are the 5 pictures Wayne has on his phone.
I bet in my head, I'm just imagining that he's got a whole like screenshot thing of like the way that he does have these special interests in certain
pocket.
people, like Bondar. No, like Bondar. Like I bet he has like a whole like screenshot folder full of like Bondar facts and pictures or something. You know. Like, I don't think it's one picture of Stormy. I think it's 5,000 pictures of all of the dogs.
That's what I was about to say. I'm gonna get weird with it. I'm gonna say he's probably got a bunch of like an uncomfortable number of pictures of like perfectly stacked bales of barley.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Just like you know what I mean, like those like you know those like satisfaction TikToks.
He's so proud of it.
They're just
Hell
like,
yeah.
And he's just like.
He's got video. You watch his Instagram. He's got videos of him stacking hay perfectly.
Like he secretly watches TikTok videos of like people doing farm porn late at night. just people just shoveling fucking pig pens. People just fucking stacking bales and bales.
Chorin.com.
Oh yeah, chored instead of black.
Anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is another great episode.
Yeah. This is definitely one of my more favorite of the season because it's interesting. I think it handles the subject really well, even though there's a few things that I would have changed if it had been like a real life thing.
Yeah.
But you can't do that because then the show can't happen. I know.
So the show can happen.
I struggle with that. I'm sorry. It is something that I have come to understand about my autistic brain when it doesn't quite make sense.
I mean, if you think about it, lots of after-school specials would be very short otherwise.
True story.
I don't like to point fingers, but
remember when you're pointing one finger at me, you're pointing 4 back at you. Okay, 3. We'll go with 3.
I was in the army. It's okay.
See, this is why I have to get high right before talking to him, because I need to keep up.
Any other thoughts, theories, stuff?
That is everything I've got.
All right. So if you're ready, let's do a little. All right, Fuck Fight Ferta, where we play our own version of Fuck, Marry, Kill, where we don't want to kill anybody. We want to be buddies with people. We don't want to get married, because apparently nobody, aside from the McMurrays, do that in Letterkenny. So,
well, and Wayne eventually.
Maybe we'll see.
He's the marrying kind. He wants to.
Yeah,
I bet he still has that ring. He's still trying to figure it out.
He may. We'll
Rosie
see.
can still cheat on him.
Shh.
I'm going to say this once, and I won't say it again. Don't you disparage that name.
Shut your fucking hole.
Get her name out of your dirty whore mouth.
Shut your dirty whore mouth.
Anyway, that woman is a saint.
So anyway, Wayne.
Yeah, we're fucking Wayne.
Ferta. You're always do it. Ferta for me. This,
I was like, yeah, you're always fucking Wayne. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Wayne's a Ferta in this one. He's just a good boy. He's just sitting back.
He's relegated to side character for
again.
Katie and her friends.
Again.
Yeah.
Second episode in. Twice now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Katie's.
Are
you?
Wait,
you?
Me?
Yeah, because you started talking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the one trick pony of kicking dudes in the nuts is honestly getting a little. That's a trope I'm okay with dropping at some point. Like, that doesn't need to be the only comeuppance that men get when they do something stupid against a woman.
Well,
so I say Ferta because I totally would be laughing my ass off and cheering when she did it, but she needs to come up with something more creative.
Well, she can't actually cut his balls off, and they can't send him to jail because that's not how Letterkenny is. So that's probably the worst punishment that you get, aside from an ass kicking from Wayne. So. I mean, if he took it now, if he'd had taken a swing at Katie, that would have been a whole other situation.
I don't see even a D-gen like him taking a swing against Katie. Like, I think that too many people are afraid of Wayne for that to ever happen from anybody who might know Wayne.
I think he's not afraid. I think he should be afraid of Wayne. He is, unfortunately, I mean, as we know in this episode in the last episode, he doesn't think Wayne is all that big. So, and he fucks around and he finds out. He gets it. He gets in the find out period of the season. But anyway, Katie, where were we?
I said Ferta.
You said Ferta.
Yeah, I'm going Ferta just to be on her good side because she's bitches on a mission, and she may
choke you.
Yeah, I'm like Katie is gnarly when she's on a mission, and it's just as a force I would not want to fucking try to meet ever. Yeah, and also she's just cute as ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Daniel.
Again, relegated to side character in this episode.
Yeah, pretty much all the boys are.
Yeah. So
Daniel's the piss washer. Wait,
what?
Who's Daniel?
Dan, Squirrely Dan.
Oh, I'm like, oh wait.
That's what Emma calls him. Yeah, Miss Emma.
Yeah, no, Dan's Ferta as well. He's just there.
Ellen, not
Ellen. Yeah.
I know it was an E.
I'm there to support. I'm
agreed. Probably the same for me with Derry. But he's on the cusp. He's on the cusp of a fight, though.
I think he's super eager to see Gail's nude picture, which I feel like if she doesn't remember to send it to him on her own, that he might come back later and go, You want to send that to me?
That's what I'm saying. Gary,
Because then he's getting consent.
I mean, I'm sure she would say yes.
I know she would. Yeah.
Yeah, Gary's
I mean,
on
that's
that.
why she asked.
Gary's on that cusp for me as well. On that, like, yeah, kind of want to fight just because he's asking the same questions I'm asking. So no wonder I would have want to fight myself for sure. I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just wants like, well, I kind of want to see him. Like, no, dear, no. It's great.
All right, so Rosie.
Ferda. She needs to talk to her cousin first.
Yeah, agreed.
This is your cousin. Come on.
All right, well, let's talk about her cousin. Where are we with Gail?
Oh, Gail.
Dean, I haven't heard any of your votes, by the way.
All of mine been Ferda so far. So I'm agreeing. I'm pretty much on board with all of you. Wayne is just. I mean, there are some episodes. Well, I would say fuck Wayne, but this one he's just Ferda. He's a side character. So but yeah, for me on this one, I'm fucking Gail. I'll fuck Gail.
Because like in nothing. She did nothing wrong in this. She gave her picture to somebody knowing that it would that he would be, getting himself off with it. She may or may not have, she probably completely expected him to do that and maybe even implied consent, but because it wasn't actual,
it was not confirmed.
It was not confirmed consent. And so, but fuck her, not in a bad way.
Sometimes in the bad way, maybe.
I mean, you absolutely have your fun way.
Renee.
Who are we on again?
Gail.
Gailers.
Gailer.
The Gailers. I don't know, man. That was it's so weird because she knowingly, or I feel like she kind of knowingly started
a
little fucking forest fire inside of fucking Letterkenny. Like, there was how many 5,000 people in fucking Letterkenny? Like, come on now. Like,
I think she knew that if it was leaked, that it would be a good outcome for her.
So,
she didn't tell him to do it, though.
I'm saying fight.
All right.
Because knowing Gail being the promiscuous woman she is, she knew a little better than that. Alabama hot pocket. I feel like she knew better, and she's
I think
especially being the bartender. Like, I'm sorry, you're the bartender. You're not a bartender. You are the
entire
bartender.
town.
Well, sometimes it's Bonnie.
Town. You know what you're doing because you know every single one of these fucking DJs.
See, I think Gail just didn't care.
Yeah.
She wasn't thinking of something happening like what Bonnie and Katie and Rosie were doing.
That's the big difference why I don't think any of this is Gail's fault. Like, yes, she sent him a picture, but there's nothing wrong with sending a picture consensually with somebody. She did not tell him to share that with people.
Gaylor gets fight because she saw a puddle of gasoline and threw a match at it.
All right. Okay. I mean, I can accept that argument. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can accept that.
Come on, we're talking about fucking Chive and Pete over here. Come on now.
I mean, because that's the thing. I think when you do put stuff out there, there is a possibility that it's going to happen. And if it happens, I think Gail knows, it may happen, and she's happy. She's fine with whatever the consequences are. She doesn't give a shit. So Gail's just going to be Gail. Gail's going to always be Gail.
She's probably sent her nude to 100 people in Letterkenny, but it wasn't until it hit Jive and Pete that it was spread to everyone in Letterkenny.
Yeah.
So that's why it comes down to consent. Like, I'm sending this picture to Dean. But if Dean then shows it, Dean then shows it to people or sends it to people, just because I sent him that picture does not mean that he then is not the one who's at fault for sharing it.
Right.
So it's
even if, regardless of how much cough syrup she was on.
Right.
All right, let's move on to Bonnie McMurray.
Bonnie McMurray.
I love that Bonnie's growing up.
Mm-hmm.
She is definitely much more of a woman
The paint has dried a little.
Yeah. But
She
I
does
mean,
look like a grown up, but
yeah.
still.
I mean, there are some cases like I had in the first episode. She was
People
definitely
are babies until they hit 30 in my eyes. That is what has happened to me as I have gotten older. If you are not 30, you are a baby, and I love you.
I think in these cases, I think our ages are fluid.
Yeah.
So if we were her age,
I just
no, just
honestly
well, in this one, yeah,
she's
not so
my
much.
type, and that's what.
Well, yeah, there's that. But in that first episode, she was like, "Fuck yeah, hell yeah, fuck yeah."
If you were 16 and she was 16,
well, no, I'm talking about the first episode of this season.
Oh yeah, that was great. When she walked in and was like, "What the fuck?
actual fuck is going on here?"
Yes, that was.
She was the voice. She was the voice of reason. Yeah,
her best scene in any of the episodes.
So anyway, on this episode,
Ferda.
Okay.
She should be the other person of reason in this. Like, this is someone you know very well. You work with her every day. She just went off to the thing. Wait until she gets back with the alcohol and say, Gail, someone sent me a picture. Let me know that this is. And then she'll go, oh yeah, I sent it to Jive Pete. I'm sure that he spread it around. End of problem. So I know.
And then probably and then probably ask her as well. You want us to kick his ass?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
And she might say, "No, I'm just going to piss a little in his drink."
Right.
So she already had a plan for it. So, I mean,
that is true. That is true.
Anyway,
Renee, your face.
Anyway, so anyway, going back to Bonnie. Where are you on Bonnie, Renee? I'm Ferda.
Bonnie was just part of the gang. That just another Ferda.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about Bonnie McMurray's, but yeah, this is. I love. She was just whatever the fucking homies say. We're fucking ride or dying. Fuck that shit. And sound like.
I love that the women were all ride or die. They were ready to fucking kill this man, whoever
they
it
were
was.
like, let's fucking. Was it regulators? Mount up.
Yes. Oh yes. My sister is like crying in heaven for that reference right now. She's so great for that. And I said heaven like she's in heaven.
Anyway, now we go on to.
Don't worry, I'll see her where she is.
McMurray.
Fight.
Yeah. I agree.
Renee.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm dealing with a small emergency. McMurray. McMurray gets fight because, like, bro, you don't fucking talk shit about me while I'm in your house fucking wearing a dashiki or whatever. Like, no,
he was a dashiki.
Come on.
All right, somebody out there needs to Photoshop a dashiki on McMurray.
Oh my god! During Kwanzaa, McMurray absolutely would be the one putting on a dashiki for like Kwanzaa and like trying, sees Bradley and is like, whatever the fuck. And I can see that. I can see McMurray totally trying to not be racist that way. So great.
I'm just trying to fit in, and it's good for you, and it's good for me.
I'm playing Dick Skins again in the near future. So like for now, the one after that, I might have to try and plan something out along those lines. I kind of like that idea.
Anyway, I have a feeling that Mrs. McMurray may be in the same pot.
Fight.
Yeah. That was definitely fights.
The first time I ever wanted to fight her.
Yeah, probably for me too.
Yeah.
It was just too much. It went.
Sturt.
Stu.
Ferda.
Really? Okay. I'm fighting Stuart.
Yeah, go for it. Like I'm not like Ferda because I want to be his friend. I'm Ferda because I'm just like
sort yourself out.
Yeah.
Yeah, now fight Stuart because he's being a degen as usual. Yeah, I'm just tired of his shit. We're 6-7
now Rolled on the other hand, who's next?
Rolled.
Roldy is always gonna be a Ferda, and so I can put him in my pocket and have him forever.
I'm fucking Rolled.
Do it.
Welcome today. Whoa! I'm going Ferda today.
All right.
What? Because I'm like, he wasn't that sexual. Like when Rolled.
No, it had nothing to do with him being sexual. It's more that he was making every effort to do the right thing and trying to
find an accord between.
He is a loving person.
Yes.
So it has nothing to do with sexual or
and
anything.
the look of joy on his face.
Yes.
Just for the look of joy on his face. Sure.
Riley and Jonesy.
Riley and Jonesy need to understand that showing their friends the pictures is just as bad as sending the pictures, but since they didn't send the pictures this time,
They didn't send it.
They didn't send it this time. Verda, I guess.
Fight for every other picture that they did send.
Right. If they have sent pictures, well, they've said they don't send pictures.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying fight this episode for every picture that they have sent in the past.
Oh,
just
all right.
Give them a good old hey, we.
I don't think they've sent any.
No, that's what he said. They didn't send this one.
No, he said they don't send. They send it in them as bad, but they will show them.
Yeah,
they just
were
won't
trying
send
to
them.
say that it was fine because they didn't send them.
Because he said so we would not send it
earlier. Even just showing is not
right.
Cool.
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't.
Sending and showing are two different things, but
that they fucking pulled. So for every fucking big city slam that they've ever shown, no, they're catching a fucking punch to the face.
All right. I'm with you. Yeah.
I think it just takes a lot for me to fight. Like they're pieces of shit. Like they're dumbasses that don't have a brain between them.
I don't think they realize
their heads together, but I would probably kill them.
It's like they don't realize that it's just as bad.
Yeah.
Essentially, I mean,
they need someone to sit down and say, "Hey,
I mean, they often
you sound
say
like you're trying to be ethical about this, but let's talk about it and actually understand what that word means."
And then it'd be, okay.
Oh. So only if the Brodsky consents. Exactly. In everything you do to anybody else.
To any
only
snipey.
With consent.
Any Brodsky.
Right.
Avi.
I mean.
He's at least a Ferda.
Yeah.
It's not a fight.
No.
I'm fighting Avi.
He's a stand-up guy. Why are you fighting him?
He's not a stand-up guy. He's selling cocaine at a Jewish school at elevated prices.
He didn't sell it. He sold it to his cousin Shlomi.
He knew it was going to happen to him. Anyway, he's not a stand-up guy, but he's not a
fan of that
DJ.
stuff. I'm not a fan of what he's representing. I think maybe in the near future we might have to have him on the program. We can talk about this as human beings. You know what I'm saying?
How does it feel? How does it feel?
A good guy, his family. He comes from a good lineage of good gentlemen.
What would your bubby say?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what would your bubby say?
I tried to say comes from I know it's Bubala. She was a wonderful woman.
But
you sound like Jackie Mason.
He does have unlimited weed, which does kind of skew me a little bit.
All right.
I mean,
so
I'm fighting my man Dan with the master's plan with but yeah.
Anyway,
I totally slacked, and we'll have him back on the show.
Have him back.
Actually, we should maybe try and work on getting him on a table read. And
that'd be fun.
And even better, don't mention it to anybody else who's not watching the episode right now, but just have him pop
but not
in.
have him play Avi.
Right.
Oh, that'd be even hilarious. Or just have him do dick skins. and I do Avi.
So Tiara, where are you? You Ferda?
Avi? Yeah, I'm Ferda.
Yeah. Alexander's
is a Ferder.
He's a fritter.
Ferda.
Yeah, Ferda.
Yeah.
He had some good one-liners.
Yeah.
Alexander's actually killed it. Now that I think about it, this has been his most prominent season, because that's probably
every season it's more and more because people really dig him. They love the character.
Yeah, and it's also probably, this was again, we said earlier, this was the pandemic, so he probably had nothing else going on. He's kind of a character actor. No offense, Alexander's, we love you. Fucking when I constantly now when you're out here, you're American. When you're in the bathroom, you're
European.
Yeah, I repeat that way too many times now, thanks to him. So I don't want him to if you, God forbid, he ever sees this, but no. I'm saying, yeah, Ferda all the fucking way. I love his character development. It's getting, oh my god, and if they fucking ever cut him out, we riot. That's all I'm calling it now.
Oh
We
yeah.
riot.
All right, then finally, unless I've missed anybody, Jimmy Dickens.
Fuck. He deserves so much better than what he was getting there. Like he thought he was going to have a nice, relaxing hot tub soak with the McMurrays.
I
and
was
maybe
here for a nice, relaxing hot tub soak.
Right, and maybe they might do stuff after.
Maybe for 1, could be 2, possibly 3. How about 4? How about 5 hours?
All right. Dean's trying to steal another role from me. This isn't.
Dean is also a character actor, but it's a voice character actor. Like he can pull that. Like it's. You have no idea how fucking annoying it can be, though. Like,
I bet.
Although the Scottish accent can always happen.
I know myself, and I just think I think I'm hilarious. So imagine he's getting paid to do it. I would collect money for the dumb shit that comes out of my stupid face. I'd be a
So I don't think I missed anybody there.
No, I think
we got all the Hicks. We got Bonnie. We got Rosie. Do we consider Rosie as part of the Hicks now? I mean, there's the 4: Wayne,
then
Katie.
We have to. Well,
I'm sorry.
Or just Hick adjacent.
I think she's Hick adjacent.
Yeah, and it's because
she's not a
she's in one of the she's in the greater Hicks.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with you, but just because like what you said earlier about how like. If the one other person's going to be, wanting to see that ring,
yeah,
it's going to be Wayne. So like every relationship that we've seen Wayne in has not been.
Yeah, the 4. I mean, the 4 are always the 4. There's no.
Yeah.
So Rosie has come and gone.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think her returning is one of the best.
I'd be scared if Rosie got her fucking ring too, because like. Imagine if she got a fucking ring and then they fucking threw a fucking breakup at us.
Oh god, that would devastate everyone.
Like that would be like
that's already happened. That's happened once.
A lot of therapy, like personal therapy, amongst all of our little circle here. Like, oh my god.
So my theory about Rosie is that every person that Wayne has dated has basically been like tried on in the group, and Rosie is the only one that has just been like she feels like she's just been there. Every like as much as I liked the last one, and even my brain, even Tanis, none of them fit. As soon as Rosie was back, it just fit.
Yeah. She understands him.
Yeah, she understands him, and she understands his friends, and she understands Katie and is really good friends with Katie.
Yeah.
And like, you didn't have that with nobody. Marie Fred was not friends with Katie. No. Marie Fred, like, I think tried to ingratiate her, but I think Katie smelled something rotten there, like the whole time. She always kind of was like, I like her, but she was a little standoffish. I may be projecting, but whatever.
No, I think we're more on it.
Like it felt like she was always at arm's length by everybody. And then when they broke up, yes, it was devastating because we were set up to think that this was going to be like some happily ever after storyline. But then when the dust settled, we weren't missing that much having Marie Fred gone. No. If Rosie were to leave now at this point where she's been really ingrained in the last 2 seasons, 3 seasons, however many it's been, like she's a full-on part of the group now, and she would be missed if she was to leave. And we notice when she's not there.
True.
So, like sometimes we're sitting there and we forget that we didn't see the McMurrays in the episode, or we didn't see Glenn like in this episode. But Rosie's not in it. We're usually like, Rosie wasn't in this one, so
yeah, she's. I mean, at least as of late, she's always been part of the group.
Yeah.
So. Has not been excluded.
She makes a great contribution to the group.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
It's so maybe I don't know if they did some like audience freaking questionnaires and shit like that to figure out if it's working out for the demographic. But I don't know.
She probably left because she was doing another acting gig somewhere, and probably in Vancouver, and because that's where so many happen.
Yeah, I think she did have something
when she was
else going on
available
at the
again, Kisa was like, "Hell yeah, I want her back. Let's go back with what our original storyline that we were doing." So
Love
like
it.
again, that's supposition. You know, that's just me like talking out of my ass, hoping that that's what happened.
Is that what you call that thing? Oh,
Supposition or my ass.
Suppository? What?
It's a great ass. I don't know.
It
You
is a
haven't-
fan.
I don't think
It's
you've seen it yet,
fantastic.
no, I've just had that one awkward cleavage moment where I'm just like, can we?
Really? You've looked away from the cleavage? It's magical. I don't actually wear my boobs out on the show very often. I'm usually in a t-shirt.
I wear my boobs out all the time.
Yes, you do. They're
I
lovely.
wear my sunglasses at night.
All right, Corey Hart. Do we have anything else? Any final thoughts that we need to?
No.
Nothing. Everybody, go check out Rene on Perfectly Misfit on the YouTubes and everything else that he's going to be on. And what remind me again? What was the other
my at and social medias are all at Bet You I Did. That's BETYOUIDID. Bet You I Did. But yeah, the other thing we were talking about earlier was stackup.org.
Yes, stackup.org.
Yeah, it's a great veterans organization that helps prevent or reduce numbers of veteran suicide and depression through gaming, tabletop gaming, video gaming, live meetups, online meetups, on Discord and shit like that. Definitely check them out. Hopefully, I might start volunteering, doing some volunteer work with them here in Denver. If you're in the Denver area, hit me up. Or if you're in a different city, go check out their website. They have a map and it shows, a little flag where every location of every stack is available. If they don't have a stack in your fucking city, all you got to do is apply and, do a little 20,
Make
30
make a Boba Fett stack.
Yep.
Yeah. All you got to do is just, start up your own little, host your own little events, find a little place to host it. They'll give you minimal supplies. This is a not-for-profit organization, but if you want to help your community, you want to help your fellow veterans, it's a great thing to do, great thing to check out.
Damn right.
Yeah.
All
Thanks
right,
for having me on again.
Yeah, hang with us for a sec. And
By the way, Dean,
yes,
there's
yes.
one in Astoria, but there does not look like there's one in Portland or Vancouver. So
Mm.
if anybody out there is listening who's nearby and wants to do this, like message us too, because we're kind of into this too.
Yeah, it's not a huge commitment, and I think it'll be very fulfilling. Something to give back and make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Boost your own morale and while boosting others at the same time.
That's needed.
Definitely. All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Well, all right then, Maestro. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of How Are You Now with your favorite groups of Hicks, Skids, hockey players, Christians, and DJs. We hope you enjoyed your chat today with Rene Encarnacion. We look forward to having him back in the future. Join us next week as we welcome back David Mack to the chat about season 11, episode 5, Influenzas. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a rating or review. Until next time, keep your head up and don't be spare parts, bud.